you can think of this as a parallel NLP training, or a different, kind of a different grade or plane of NLP. And I think if you've attended many or a sufficient number of trainings, often one walks away intrigued by the possibilities of what has been brought up. There are things you think, wow, that's really interesting. I wonder how far one can take that. But the trainings invariably seem to end before they really get good. The training seems to just kind of open up a certain set of possibilities, and they're very suggestive. Okay, good term. They're suggestive of possibilities without ever really kind of hitting the spot. Okay, and I cannot tell you the number of trainings I've been to that I thought, wow, that was interesting. If the trainer had just studied more, lived more, experienced more, been able to coordinate a coherent account at a deeper level of life in the many ways we experience life, that training would have really made it for me. But very few trainings seem to really reach down into parts of myself and just let yourself go into a nice, quiet, happy place and ignore that siren as it goes by. Unfortunately, the way I'm located right now is I pick up a lot of noise from all around. So I've got to constantly be dealing with noise from all around. And New York is that way. New York is a training. New York, the streets, the people, the constant change, the amount of adaptation and flexibility and coordination you need to deal with people coming from all different angles with their heads in different places. We have great sociopaths. Okay, New York has got absolutely the best people on the street who can play with your mind in fascinatingly manipulative ways. And I can't tell you the number of different sociopathic riffs, sociopathic trips, little ways of trying to part you from $20 or $10 or something. These great stories, masters of stories, and sometimes I've even known that I've been somewhat kind of inducted into the game a little bit just so I can pay the $20 to experience a one-on-one training with someone who has mastered some kind of fascinating behavioral anomaly that other people aren't capable of. And I'm really interested, like, how is it that, this wide variety of people, I've never met any two of them that have the same presentation or the same personality, yet there's some kind of energetic thing about them that stays the same. That's this constant that I've learned to pick up. I'm dealing with one of these things, one of these categories, and that will call forth a certain type of response and interest in my mind, or lack of interest in some cases. And those are the kind of spots and places, that kind of depth of real, honest to God, yeah, I really understand. You lived it, you were there, you experienced that, you saw that, and you could report back in a training format and give us something of the essence of that kind of experience. In the city, for example, I could tell you remarkable stories of Goombas I have encountered as a different kind of a mindset or a different kind of reality frame. Fascinating stories, just things that have happened to me, say, walking down Mulberry Street, or in Brooklyn in the Lucchese neighborhoods, or over on Sullivan Street, where another crew kind of held forth, and you had to sort of navigate reality with respect to these people, and so that definitely brought a kind of appreciation for human complexity and human undefinability, and the way that people brought forward sublime and very mysterious aspects of culture into, as Grinder would say, into the flow of experience. So many things, you might say, were being imposed on the flow of experience, coming from perceptual sets and perceptual positions far outside of oneself. The most important piece I've taken from this is that one is better served by being continuously challenged, by having very tight feedback loops, information coming back very quickly and very cleanly from multiple perspectives, multiple realities. One really is no better than one's feedback loops. One is no richer than one's feedback loops. One should, I think, I forgot who it was, one of the American philosophers said that he was wealthy with respect to the things that he did not need. He defined his state of wealth, his psychological wealth, in terms of what he did not require, what he did not need, what he was free from the need of. I thought that was a beautiful description of wealth. An incomplete description, but a beautiful description, and a meaningful description. So some descriptions can be very incomplete, yet they can be very sufficient. Okay, there's a sufficiency and a meaningfulness to them in spite of their incompleteness. And there are other things that are just incomplete. They just lack wholeness. They are inadequate in their incompleteness. And I think that's where the power of the feedback loop keeps coming back to us. If we live in very high feedback loop environments, very high feedback loop cultures, where data from multiple frames comes into us, and we really take it into ourselves, we kind of breathe it into ourselves, and we feel it. We feel it throughout our body. We feel those realities kind of seep through us, kind of like, I don't know, sort of like glowing, vibrating liquids of different types of saturations that are going on and abounding in this universe that is constantly throwing up and manifesting these unbelievable, in many ways, completely unknowable things that just give themselves to us. And thus, I think we have sort of a better description of where NLP should be, could be, might be coming from.